Taking one another step forward with the Bank of Namibia unveiling the country's new financial strategy framework. A new document presented at a public forum today by the governor of the central bank outlines the policies, plans and actions that will guide the transformation of the country's financial services sector as the regulator marks its 35th anniversary. Let's take a listen.
This morning we gathered to launch the Namibian Financial Sector Transformation Strategy 2025 to 2035, and in so doing commit to building a financial system that is dynamic, a system that's inclusive and attuned to the realities of our country. This strategy is the product of broad collaboration and is guided by a clear sense of purpose to ensure that the financial sector contributes towards economic growth, strengthens macroeconomic stability, advances financial inclusion, and fulfills the developmental aspirations of Namibia and its people. Welcome to the Bank of Namibia. Today is more than a ceremonial occasion. It is a deliberate act of national design. We gather not to celebrate the status quo, but to redefine the role of finance in Namibia, not as an abstract system, but as a foundation for economic empowerment, a catalyst for innovation, and a driver of inclusive growth. The Namibian financial system is confronting what I call the 2035 pivot, balancing between development and stability on the one hand and preparing for the new world on the other. Despite a challenging and unpredictable external environment, the country's economy has shown resilience, with headline inflation slowing and an improved external position. Today's launch takes place against the backdrop of a triple pivot: a technological pivot driven by intelligent technologies, you can call them artificial intelligence, quantum computing, machine learning, a regulatory pivot marked by the rise of smart regulation, and a historical pivot shaped by profound geopolitical policy shifts, climatic swings, and evolving consumer preferences. This convergence calls for sober reflection and bold action. Namibia can be an economic success story, but only if we transform the financial sector and decisively confront our structural economic challenges. My welcome remarks are structured in three brief parts, and it's really brief. First, I'll offer a cursory reflection of our financial sector reality and the legacy of the 2009 Financial Sector Charter. Second, I'll provide an overview of the financial soundness indicators. And third, I will share a few reflections on preparing the financial sector for the future, in the spirit of what Paul Valery reminds us, that the future is not what is going to happen, but what we are going to do in transforming the financial sector in the country. Namibia's financial system is stable, is sound, and is modern, serving the formal and urban economy effectively. However, more must be done to deepen financial inclusion, particularly in the informal and the rural economy. The non-bank financial sector holds the majority of financial assets, and over the past 3 decades, the financial system's debt, as measured by broad money, that's the M2, and private sector credit relative to gross domestic product, has steadily increased. Notably, the scale of financial intermediation in Namibia is relatively high compared to many developing countries across the African continent. Our commitment to transformation is anchored in a robust financial system. Key indicators of Namibia's financial sector show strength across capital adequacy, asset quality, liquidity, profitability, and risk exposure. The implementation of the 2.5% capital conservation buffer in 2024 further enhances resilience. This foundation shows us to pursue transformation confidently without compromising financial stability. If you really look at capital adequacy across the financial sector in the country, our assessment that it is strong. If you look at asset quality and use NPLs or non-performing loans as a measure thereof, it's satisfactory. Liquidity coverage in terms of adequate buffers maintained, it's robust. Profitability in terms of returns, whether you look at ROEs and ROIs, that is healthy. And if you look at market risk exposure, it's well managed at this stage. Globally, the past decade has transformed the financial landscape. Digital technology has reshaped how people engage with money, fintech, and blurred the lines of traditional financial services, and sustainable finances emerge as a defining imperative. Namibia has not been immune. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated digital adoption, but also exposed critical gaps in inclusion and in adaptability. The lesson is clear. The future will not wait. We must take the lead in shaping the future.